production process video of Enemy AI part 2. For the Enemy AI that I was implementing, I've now successfully been able to create an AI that functions, rotates to the player, successfully sends projectiles towards the player, and also it includes the factor that the telekinetic props can also damage the Kraken, which is related to the Harry Potter squid monster, which will be noted in the portfolio more, and also the actual player's own projectiles can damage the enemy AI just as equally, due to the fact that there's health on the AI and on the enemy itself, and also the fact that the player will, from tomorrow, also have health. So in terms of what it does, so it will rotate around, fire towards the player, and I'm going to inquire tomorrow on how to kind of fix it so that these projectiles can damage the player. But all kind of this will keep moving. It's the reason it's got a very small cone of vision now is because I'm implementing the from all levels, which is now done. And the so you just saw there that it damaged this telekinetic prop. So it went into the prop and that takes health off it. So for example, if I press place now, I'm going to just simply fire at it. It seems great. And you hear those sounds firing off every time. Which has been linked to the Kraken itself. So that is what the main feature of the Enemy AI does. And in terms of using the props, this is the joy of production videos. I've got, so it's basically run into this prop here. So I'm going to try and pick up a prop before it does that. But also because when it's rotating, it's going to hit it multiple times, and that's what I want for the player. In terms of the all levels, because it's just a testing map, it seems to do a ton of damage, which it does, but it seems to do a very ton of damage in a very small amount of time. But the player, while they're playing through the levels, might not know to use the prop as much. But when they do use the prop and see how fast it takes an enemy out, they're going to use it more often. So it's that idea of kind of rewarding the player for exploring a bit more. So in terms of what this does for the actual AI, it basically just goes through a pawn sensing node component. So it goes through a pawn sensing component, and it's got a vision angle of 35, 34. I'm actually going to increase that a tiny bit. It's mainly from a level 3, because from a final level it was detecting the player way too early. So I'm just going to up the curve vision a bit, and I can alter that in the future if I need be. But in terms of the actual construction, so it first of all goes through the on-seat pawn, it then casts the first person character, sequences through to the set focus. So that's basically rotating towards the character and we want a smooth rotate towards them. And the self is also the pawn of the AI to AI move to for the control and the function. It then goes through a branch to spawn an actor of what is called the water ball, again referenced in the effects section, but obviously a sourced asset, but it's a water kind of ball FX, which came with the FX Variety Pack, and I used that for the main projectile, which I'll get into again in a second in this blueprint, but we'll go into that in a bit for the actor. But in terms of what it does, it will spawn a projectile in a Boolean branch to the projectile spawn location. It will also get the world transform of a very small scene component here. So it's just there, right, Kevin. I'm just going to zoom in and show. So it's literally there. So it will fire from there, and but going back to the event graph, it will then obviously get a target of the box of the FX. It is now a sphere, but it still does the same functionality. So that's the main point of this return value. It plays the sound whenever that actor fires. Now that is also parts of this obviously relates to the control tutorial, because I found out how to also play the sound whenever I acted. Oh, sorry. That is me backing up my project. So that's fine. So in terms of what the sound does, it will basically fire as soon as that actor fires. So the sound will go off, and that is what we're looking for, wanting the player to kind of feel like the enemy projectile is doing something instead of it just being blank and no sound occurring. So it's going to then go for a set so the spawn projectile obviously is off and not tick there, but it'll go for a delay of 1.5 seconds. And the reason that is because we don't want a projectile to fire continuously. We don't want a stream of projectiles going towards the player. So we're going to simplify a delay here, 1.5 seconds. And also this has been kind of looked up and researched and everything to make sure that this all works. But in terms of the set, it then spawns projectile again after the delay of 1.5 seconds. In terms of the damage, so we're going to go into the damage in a second, but first of all, we're going to go into the waterfall, and this is where we see what happens to the health. So this is a work in progress production video, and this is why I want to go to this place first. So this is obviously the main projectile, but the main point is that this event hit is going through to kind of find the main player character, and I'm working on basically damaging the player whenever it hits the player, but at the moment it isn't working. So tomorrow morning, I'm just going to ask one of my lecturers if it's possible, like how best I go about doing that. But after that is prepared, I will then have health and damage being taken to the player. But in terms of actually allowing the player to damage the enemy, that works great. So it's going to go through, again, research and everything, but it's going to go through the Kraken blueprint again. But it's going to go through an event any damage. In any damage, it spawns a sound of the Kraken hit sound, which has been referenced and sourced from Free Sounds. So it goes through a set and also floats here to kind of get a health value. So it's 210. Didn't want it to be like massively high, because I think it's about 15 points of damage the player does. Or we're just going to double check that while we're talking about this. So I'm just going to check that. Where is my base stat? Yeah, so it's about five points of damage. But over time, where is it? There we go. So over time, that health curve gives us a bit of leeway. It's not too difficult to defeat an enemy, but at the same time, want some resistance, but not too much. Just want the player to have a leisurely kind of play through. So we're about 210, and then goes for a set. With the health, and it's obviously got a subtraction float here. Subtraction waiting to the floats, and we've then got a set to the branch. The branch then goes through. Also, if it's less than 0, it's not going to do anything. So it's got the health there, and it's got the enemy eliminated. If that's ticked in the boolean here in the variable, also get shoot amount and enemy eliminated as spawn projectile as well. All kind of booleans and floats here. So the boolean enemy eliminated goes through the tick. If that's true, then it will play the animation of the kind of death animation of the enemy. Go for the also targets the Kraken, or what will be relating to the Harry Potter squid monster. But we'll talk about that in the portfolio. So it spawns the sound then of the Kraken sound again, and it'll go for a delay, go for about 2 seconds or so. Sorry. The Kraken sound for its death sound, so to speak, again sourced and referenced from Free Sounds, but that will fire after the animation of the death is played. So also that's the 2 sections that happen when the player's defeated it. So that sound is one afterwards. It'll then go for a delay of about 2 seconds, and they'll destroy the actor. And it's as simple as that. That's it, all kind of sorted and ready to go. I spent probably a good number of hours today just working on all of that and getting done, but I'm now at the stage where I'm now ready for testing my level. Just need to fix two small things, 2 blueprints to get fixed, and apart from that, that is everything done and ready for testing. So in terms of the projectile, this is what happens when the player also fires their projectile when it hits the Kraken, again with the prop. Actually, I'm going to go into the prop first. So basically when it hits, first of all, the Eagle Vision component into Blueprint actually is now relating to also the prop, which means that the player will know when to pick it up using Eagle Vision, because it will highlight whenever the player's looking over it. So that was relating to the prop, and also here is where we see that it does the same damage. It does about 15 points of damage whenever a telekinetic prop hits the Kraken. So again, it does 5 points of damage for a normal kind of fire spell, but it does 15 points of damage for a normal damage of the telekinetic prop. So there's a lot more kind of beneficial in using that. and then it goes to event hit, branch, acts as tag obviously of the tag of the enemy, which is sorted in the details panel of the Kraken. But apart from that, that is the enemy sorted, and that is, I think, the blueprint done for the production process of this video. So I'm just going to, I don't know what I don't think I've, oh yeah, I have, I've changed the very cone vision of it for the pawn sensing, so that'll be what that is. So again, just going to run through it. So this is the prop. I've got too many props in here for the production effect, so it's going to get the prop here. Actually, there you go. So that's also going to hit into there, but it won't stumble across them as easily as that in the actual main levels. But it's just for the testing area. I've just got them really close together. But yeah, that is the production process video of the Kraken and the NMAI. And I just also want to say as well, these production videos are just to complement the main writing portfolio. They'll just showcase my general work in the blueprint and everything, and the testing features just in video form. The written work is where the main focus is. These videos just little side pieces to the main work, but I just wanted to add them in because I thought it was more. It's more. I love writing about everything, and I will always focus more on the writing, but I'll really enjoy making these videos as well, just as a more relaxed environment for showcasing to whoever's looking at the portfolio, to show off these productions and the testing and what I've went through to the steps. But yeah, that is the main test of the Kraken, and then may I all done. Thanks so much for listening.